Since my worst of the year list was so well received, I figured it was time to finally make this one. Now you may be wondering, why are you making a best of the year list 6 months late? Number one, I'm lazy. Number two, I wanted to see as much as I could from 2019 before actually making the list because I would feel like I was being dishonest if I were putting out a list in December. Nothing against YouTubers who decide to do that, but I prefer the YMS route where if I need 2 years to make the video, that's how long it's gonna take. With that being said, I still have a huge list of stuff I still haven't seen. So to list that off, I have Monos, A Hidden Life, The Souvenir, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Crawl, Richard Jewell, Queen and Slim, and Dark Waters. Not that those will necessarily make my list. They're not a lock or anything, but they have a shot for sure. If I do end up watching any of those and they make my list, I'll put them on Letterboxd, so no biggie. Also, it almost seems like it's a lot at this point to make a disclaimer at the beginning of your video saying, this is my opinion, it's gonna be different than yours. As you guys saw on my worst of the year list, I had a lot of steaming hot takes, so prepare for a lot more of those. If your favorite movie of the year is not on here, then suck it up, loser. Now to start things off, there are some movies that were distributed in the US in 2019, but since they premiered at a festival in 2018, because I'm all film geek nerdy like that, I'm not going to put them on this list, but I want to shout them out nonetheless. The first film I want to mention is David Robert Mitchell's Under the Silver Lake. David Robert Mitchell is proving himself to be one of the better up-and-coming directors out there. This is easily one of the most genre-bending and bizarre films out there, and if you saw my Capone review, you know I like that shit. It's definitely not for everyone, but I found it to be quite enthralling. I know I look like an A24 shill right now, but A24 completely f***ed up the distribution for this one, so almost nobody saw it. But it's on Amazon Prime, so if you want to go see it, there you go. Speaking of which, also on Amazon Prime is Gaspar Noé's Climax. So this was my first Gaspar Noé film. I knew nothing about it other than YMS loved this. So I went to see it and I came out with a huge migraine and disturbed, unsettled, basically every synonym for unsettled. After watching a few of his other films, this is basically a common theme to feel these things after one of his movies. It sounds terrible, but it's pretty nice. Whereas Enter the Void was a psychedelic trip into the afterlife that was very drug inspired, this one is the complete opposite, where you experience this drug trip from the sober perspective, so you get to see these people doing these crazy things while you're completely straight-faced, which makes it all the more disturbing. It's intense, brutal, hard to sit through, but it's also oddly mesmerizing, at least for a weirdo like me. Now, since I'm in such a good mood, I have 22 films to talk about. I don't want this to be 30 minutes, so I'm gonna speed through them. Was the world building here forced? Yes. Was the plot anything special? Not really, but goddamn, those action scenes were nice. They made me feel good. And who doesn't love some sweet, sweet Keanu?
What was I supposed to do? You sucked my you both f***ing sucked my It was free pizza! Free f***ing pizza!
While admittedly, I find this to be a little overrated, but there's no denying that practically it's really well made and it packs quite the emotional punch. Not necessarily for me, but I could see other people getting a lot out of this. The pace of this film is about as slow as a sloth moving through jello, but I found it to have one of the most criminally underrated performances of the year in the form of Brad Pitt, and it had a lot of really nice visuals to accompany it. While I found Swiss Army Man to be a bit pretentious and pretty annoying in its style, the humor here is a lot drier and darker, which I found pretty hilarious. It went places I did not expect it to go, and I'm glad it did because the places it went were absolutely hysterical. I didn't love this one nearly as much as I loved Lady Bird because y'all know I love those coming-of-age movies. But Greta Gerwig's transition into a bigger scale film went a lot smoother than I expected it to. The film is far more ambitious and technically impressive than Lady Bird, and it has a lot of great performances. I know, unsubscribe, thumbs down, hashtag Bobbeyonce is over party. However, I can't deny that I really enjoyed this. Is it completely one-dimensional? Yes. Did I love seeing a Superman kid f***ing kill people with blood and gore. Damn straight. Yeah, so this Lex Luthor standalone film was pretty cool. It's very quirky, weird, and kinda stupid, but Lex Leisenberg brings his typical awkwardness to this film and it works really well, and Sensei is one of the most intimidating movie villains I've seen in a bit. Harmony Korine took another artistic left turn with this one. It's stupid as hell, but it's a Harmony Korine movie. It's a colorful, repetitive, stylistic descent into stupidity for 90 minutes, and it's my favorite comedy of the year, so there you go. Now, I thought the trailers for this looked absolutely horrendous, but to my surprise, I kind of loved it. The thing about Shazam is it's the most comic book movie I've seen since the Raimi Spider-Man, and you know I love some Raimi Spider-Man. I usually keep my ringer off for these things, but this looks like an important call. Hello? Oh, hey, Bob. Yeah, I did. I actually really enjoyed Shazam, but I'm not putting that on the list. I don't even think it's a good conclusion, but is it really better than... Oh. Well, okay. Yeah, I'll put that on. All right, sounds good. See you later, Bob. Avengers Endgame is the best superhero film of the year. Pedro Almodovar's reflection into his past is a very emotionally satisfying experience. And my god, does Pedro love those colors. Damn, he just bathes in those colors. I know I use that Campia clip a lot, but...
Lots of colors.
The Babadook was just alright to me, which I know is a sin against humanity, but I thought it was a little dumb. The Nightingale, however, was far more impressive and so brutal. Holy moly. Sure, it has all the elements of a typical revenge story, but it's so brutal, so gritty, so it's so great. That's right, Star Wars fans, Ruin Johnson made my list, so it was nice knowing you. Rian Johnson made whodunit films cool again. Something Kenneth Branagh couldn't do. But Kenneth's doing alright, he just made Artemis Fowl. That's a hit. Never have I ever sat through a 3.5-hour movie and not been bored out of my mind. You know, Marty over here is like 77 and he's making movies like he's 30. Sure, the film has all your typical Scorsese tropes, it's this typical gang kind of movie, but damn, it feels so nostalgic. It feels nice to see the whole gang back together. Taika keeps hitting them home runs, folks. After making my favorite comic book movie of the past decade, Taika made this smart, hilarious, and heartbreaking comedy about Nazis. Not where I expected him to go after Thor Ragnarok, but I'm really glad he did. Raw, emotional, beautiful. I don't have much else to say about this, just it's on Hulu, go see it.
I'm sorry, daytime television. I'm sorry for the realness.
Noah Baumbach is starting to become one of my favorite filmmakers working today. I know a lot of people took that fight scene out of context and put it on Twitter like, oh, this is terrible acting. Fuck you. Watch the damn movie before you make a claim like that, you fucking assholes. Sorry. These were easily some of the best performances of the entire year, and to see people mocking it like that when they haven't even seen the movie is fucking ridiculous. I'm just warning you all, the top 5 may be brought to you by A24. Keep that in mind. Yeah, I know. I'm a shill. I loved this one when I saw it in theaters, both times, and then I saw the director's cut, and I fell in love with it even more. It made the film even stranger, it made Christian even more of a fucking asshole, and it was just so much more rewarding overall. Damn right I pre-ordered that 4K. Absolutely. I saw a lot of hate towards this movie on film Twitter and a lot of people saying, oh, the dialogue's so terrible and inauthentic. These people are teenagers. Why are you judging the text message conversation? That's what these messages sound like. I don't know what you were looking for here. I'm sorry, but in a text message conversation with kids in high school, are you expecting something like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but given the fact that you happen to have been impregnated in our relationship, I feel like it is time to break up. Were you expecting something like that? I'm okay with informal. It's high school. People act like this. It's treacherous, it's dumb, but that's how people are. Music and movies can be really manipulative and annoy me, but in this, they use a lot of trendy songs like Kanye and Frank Ocean, but it fits the film so well. And I loved how they used the different aspect ratios to show like the wave of the film, how it gets really intense and it starts to get really tiny, and then when it gets back over and you're going back, it's coming back in with a full scale. It was really dope. Sorry for the informal words here, but it was wonderful. Damn, Safdie brothers. Damn, Safdie brothers. You're doing the Lord's work. This is the Sandman movie I've been waiting for years. Ever since Punch Drunk Love, I've wanted another great serious role for Adam Sandler. Funny People was great. Meyerowitz Stories was another step in the right direction. But this here, Uncut Gems, this is pinnacle Sandman.
Holy shit, I'm gonna
God bless you, Sandman. God bless you, Safdie brothers. This movie rocks. To all the people who don't want to watch this movie because of subtitles, really? You're missing out on so much great cinema when you're limiting yourself to only American films and like Jurassic World. There's so much other stuff out there that you're just not seeing that you're missing out on. And this is a prime example. This is wonderful. I don't know what there is to say about Parasite that hasn't been said already. It's amazing and basically flawless in every way. So if you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life? When Robert Pattinson was first cast as Batman, there were so many people who were like, seriously, you're casting the Twilight guy? But in my mind, I'm like, they're casting the Good Time guy, the High Life guy, and the Lighthouse guy. Sign me up. I remember when I first got out of the theater for this one, I sent my friend like 10, because it just made me so happy to see something so flawless, which I hadn't seen all year. There's so much to this movie that each of the 3 times I've watched it, I kept picking up more things about it, and that's the best kind of movie to me. Something you can get more out of each time you watch it. I know it's the typical film nerds film of the year to pick from 2019, but it really is that good. I've heard some people complain, did we need to see Robert Pattinson masturbate? We sure did. So that's it, that's my list, and excuse me a sec. Hello? Oh, hey, Bob. Oh, you saw my list? But I already put it on the list. Enough said. So there was a movie that just slipped my mind, but Avengers Endgame, that's my film of the year.